Hello, sweet Stampin' friends. Happy afternoon or evening, wherever you are at. I don't normally hop on at this time of the day. For me, it is 5:30 Central Standard Time, and you may be eating dinner right now. And that's totally fine because you can come back and watch the replay finish your dinner, of course, and then come watch the replay. So if you have not joined me before, my name is Deborah Harrison with Simply Sweet and Ink Designs. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in San Antonio, Texas. And tonight or this afternoon, I have a really fun pop-up live to share with you because I have a feeling there may be some of you out there who are like me and wondering what happened to November. Where next week's the end of November. I was going to do Christmas cards in July. Okay, August, September. For sure, I'm going to get them done in October. And it didn't happen. So I am like frantically needing a lot of Christmas cards really, really fast. I had some packs of the Reindeer Days Memories and More card packs in my stash. And I thought, what can I do with this? So I have made a lot of cards. And so I want to share with you how to make these really, really simple designs, make them fast, make a bunch of them. And if you are new to paper crafting, which I know some people are, I've had some people recently comment, they need to know everything. And so I'm not going to obviously be able to cover all of paper crafting, but in tonight's video, I'm going to share with you just basic card cuts, basic card layouts, how to do some basic card layers. That's going to be part of tonight's class. And also too, I'm going to share with you just some tips and tricks along the way. And so I am really excited for you to join me for tonight's class. Now, if you are on my email list, then I will be emailing, hopefully later tonight, I can get it wrapped up and get it emailed to you, the project sheet or the PDF tutorials, just really, really simple measurements and pictures to guide you through how to make these cards. Now, I will tell you, I mixed and matched a lot of these different layer cuts in my cards. And so I'm not going to show you all 48 cards that I made, how to make that tonight, but I am going to share with you how to make 6 of them. And then I will show you some alternates that I made just to give you some ideas on what you can do with these Memories and More card pack. And I'm using the Take a Bow Designer Series paper. All right. Hello, Geraldine. Hello, Crystal, Jean, Kelly. Thank you for joining me. All right, so I'm going to just show you some cards that I made. This right here is actually basically about 2 packs of the Memories and More cards. And obviously I used some card bases and I used Take a Bow Designer Series paper. This is like roughly 98 cards when you look at my stack over here as well. So what I did is I'm going to share with you really, really quick. Some of these are duplicates, but as you see, I took very similar designs and I just kind of changed where I put my designer series paper, added some stickers in some of them. And then that one a little bit different. All right. So I kind of repeated that a lot on some of these. And let's see, a lot of these were kind of the same. Okay, let's see, we have that. And then I kind of just repositioned where I put my designer series paper. On this one, I actually went a little bit further and I added the snowflake background. I'm not teaching that tonight because that would be a little more complex. What I want to do is I want to show you how to make cards really fast. You don't need any special tools other than a paper trimmer, and which I know a lot of us already have. That's kind of a basic crafting tool. And so I want you to be able to do this really simply with just a few supplies. And that one, like I said, I'm just briefly showing you because there's so many different ways and they all have just a little bit different look. And then I'm going to share with you how to make, is that the same one? I think that is. This one, I just did 2 versions. That and that. And then this one, I think these are all pretty close to being the same. And I'm going to show you how I did that one too. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and get into tonight's project. Now, one of the really cool things is, okay, have you ever made a really beautiful card and then you go to mail it, right? And you're like, okay, I'm going to just need 1 stamp. That's it. And then you go and you weigh it and it goes over an ounce. So then you got to pull out the bust stamp. Now, if you're not familiar with the bust stamp is when you go over that 1 ounce, it's called your extra ounce stamp. So it tells you in really fine writing that if you go over, basically it says it's an extra ounce. So you need to add that in that when you go over. Okay, what about those really bulky cards? They got all the bling, the thick ribbon. All right, well then that's when you got to look at your butterfly stamp, all right? Butterfly stamps are those when you have a card where it can't go through the post office automated machines. It has to be hand canceled or hand stamped. And so in that case, you got to use the butterfly. All right. Starts getting really expensive. These cards are designed when you put them in, they're nice and flat, they're under 1 ounce, so you can send them like normal and it isn't going to cost you a fortune. Now, let me tell you some supplies that you need. Obviously, you need a paper trimmer. Also, too, you need the Memories and More card pack. Now, I will tell you, I just realized I don't have the Memories and Card pack to share with you, so I'm just going to show you in the catalog. It is on page 19 of the September through December 2024 holiday mini catalog. And it is 54 double-sided pre-printed cards. 36 of them measure 3x4 and 18 of them measure 4x6. All right. So I will tell you on one of them, one of the 4x6 cards, I'm sorry, let me back up. On the 3x4, those 36 are 6 each of 6 designs. That's get you the 36. And then on the 18 4x6, it is 6 each of 3 designs. And that's how you get 18. What I did on one of mine is I kind of cut it up and used it as a border. So I ended up only using 12. Actually, I used all 18, but I only used the full cards of 12 of those 4x6. I know that's like super confusing, but anyway. So you're going to need the Memories and More card pack. That's kind of the foundation of everything. Then you're going to just need some base. Okay, that was weird. I just reached over, grabbed some stuff, and then it just disappeared. So sorry about that, guys. Luckily, I didn't lose the streaming. I didn't have to reset everything up. We're still on the same recording. All right, cool. So as I was saying, you need the Memories and More card pack with the Reindeer Days designs. Then you're going to need some cardstock. Now, we have at Stampin' Up, we have thick cardstock, which is what I recommend for your card bases. That gives you that nice, thick, good card base. And then you also carry the basic white cardstock. That's more for your layers. It's a thinner cardstock. It's good for the inside of your card and also too good for like just layers where you don't need to have that nice thick cardstock. So it's kind of like, that's the regular. You can kind of tell it's a little bit thicker. Not that you can see it or feel it in the camera, but just trust me, there is a difference, and using the thick cardstock is going to give a much nicer impression for your recipient. Now, also too, real red cardstock and garden green cardstock. And then you want to glimmer it up a little bit, some of these cards. So I recommend the festive 12x12 glimmer. And you're going to get 2 sheets each of the real red, the garden green, and then also to the granny apple green. All right, really pretty, great little background accents to add some shimmer to your cards. Then you're going to want to have the Take a Bow Designer Series paper. And I know many of you probably already have all this stuff already in your stash. This is actually 48 sheets of 6x6 designer series paper. You get 12 each of 4 different pattern designs that are double-sided. So you can make a ton of cards. And what's really great is the Reindeer Days Memories and More cards. They use all those colors so you can mix and match a lot of the designs. Then you're just going to need some other little things. You're going to need envelopes, all right? Pack of envelopes. Now, I will tell you the envelopes come in 40 pack, and the Reindeer Days cards that I ended up making 48. So you may not have enough envelopes, but maybe you have more in your stash. Then also too, some adhesives, dimensionals, some mini glue dots, and some multi-purpose liquid glue. Or if you like tape glue, you can certainly use the tape glue or the tape adhesive. And then the other way that I added some bling to some of the other cards was using, this is a new online exclusive, and it's the gold twisted thread. I love this thread. It gives a really nice wispy, shimmery look to the cards. All right, so that's what we have. So let's start off for our new paper crafters. Welcome. I am so excited you're here because paper crafting is so fun, but I also know that you can't sit there and it can get really expensive in the beginning. Many of us, we have built up our crafting stash over years. And so to begin with, you just really need a paper trimmer. to be able to get started. And so I really like Stampin' Up's paper trimmer. I'm not going to go into all of the benefits and the details and all the tips and tricks on it, but the two things that, well, there's three things that I like. One, it can go to 6 by 12, or you can take the swing arm and make it 12 by 12 to be able to do your cuts. It has the cutting blade, and then you also you have a score blade all in one unit, which is what I love. So I'm going to show you, for those who are new to paper crafting and you want to know how to make just basic card bases. A piece of paper that you put into your printer is just our standard size cardstock, and then measures 8.5 by 11. And so basically there are two different formats of card bases that you can make from an 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock. What you can do is you can take, actually, I'm just going to use this one. And this is just a sample. This is from the back of the designer series paper. There's always that paper backing. I'm just using that for tonight. So if we are 8.5 widthwise, if you divide that in half, that would be 4 1/4. So that's one measurement to remember, 4 1/4. And that will, when you cut it at 4 1/4, you're going to line it up at 4 1/4, and then you're going to cut in half. All right. That is going to give you 2 card bases. Then another way you can do it is this is 11. What you can do is you can cut it in half the long ways. And when you do that, half of 11 inches is 5.5 inches. So we're going to line it up at 5.5 inches, and then we're going to cut. And so we get 2 card bases out of 1 sheet of cardstock. Now, the other thing is, so let's go back to, here's our one that I've already cut in half. So they're basically, it's 4 1/4 by 11, and I want to score it in half to make a card base. And so what I do is I'm going to rotate it, and I'm going to score it at 5.5 inches. Now, if you're on the Stampin' Up paper trimmer, make sure you grab the right little device here. So you want to take your score blade, which is the lighter colored one, and you're just going to score it right there. And then what you do is you fold it, and then you have what we call portrait mode. So this is a portrait card base. You can have it stand up like this. I like having this when I do portrait cards to be able to take pictures of, because it's angled correctly. Or you can do it more like a little booklet, and you can have it open that way. Now, if you have the other one where it is 5.5 by 8.5, basically what you're going to do is you're going to turn it. Now, this is your 8.5 inch side. You're going to take, remember, half of 8.5 is 4 1/4. So just a little bit of math and paper crafting, not too much. You're going to score it in half right there. All right. And then you're going to burnish it at the top. And this is what we call landscape, like you're looking at a landscape. Again, you could have it where it stands up like that, or you could have it open as a book. So you've got like different basic card options. So I just wanted to share that with you for our new paper crafters. I know that it can be, when you're trying to learn everything, just that simple thing can really make a difference. All right, so tonight, let's go ahead and let's get into the fun of making these cards. I am going to share with you how to make 6 cards, but I will show you a couple of little tweaks that I made along the way. So this one, now I've already showed you how to make card bases. Now I'm going to show you how to work with layers. Now, layers are the things you put on top of your card bases. So for this one, what I did is I cut from the Take a Bow Designer Series paper. I cut a piece that measures 4 by 5 1/4. And so if you remember our card base, when we had it folded, let me go back over here. Remember, it was basically 4 1/4 across the top, and then it was 5.5 down. So I just want to, when I make a layer, I like to go 1/4 inch in. So if it is 4 1/4 widthwise, then I want to make it 4 inches for my layer. And then it is 5.5 for my length. So I want to make my length to be 5 1/4. I'm just subtracting 1/4 inch from my overall perimeter measurement. Okay. And so that's going to give me a layer of 4 by 5 1/4. I'm not going to go into all the layering details for every single card, but I just wanted to give you a background of how we come up with making layers. Is we just subtract an equal amount from each side to be able to make that layer. If you want it to have the same perimeter, same edging border around it. All right, so I have this. Now, what I did is, remember I told you the Memories and More cards, there's some of them that are 3x4 and some are 4x6. This is a 3x4 card, and on the other side it's got some reindeer, but I wanted to highlight the Christmas tree. So again, I want to make a background layer for this Memories and More card. To do that, I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to add a 1/4 inch. So if it is 3 on the width and 4 on the length, I'm going to do 3 1/4 by 4 1/4 to give me a nice frame around my Memories and More card. And I'm going to just glue the Memories and More card onto my frame. And then I'm going to use some dimensionals. Now, dimensionals just add a little lift to your layer. And I love the Stampin' Up! Ones. I have tried over the years. I've been paper crafting for almost 18 years. And I will tell you, Stampin' Up! Absolutely, hands down, has the best dimensionals. They're thin enough to where you get a nice lift without it being too bulky. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to put this right here in the center of my card base. Now, it looks a little, it's pretty. I could totally stop here and it'd be pretty, but I have that really pretty gold thread that I want to add to it. So I'm going to use mini glue dots. Now, these are really small, little, just tiny little things of glue. You probably won't even be able to see them in the camera. Maybe you can. Now, because my linen thread is a little thin, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use my finger to kind of roll it and create like a little tube with it. And then I'm going to adhere my linen thread right there. Now, I did a double bow with that gold linen thread. You can do a single if you want to. Now, in the card pack, remember I told you there was some sticker sheets. So I thought it would be fun. Let's add a sticker. So I'm just going to take one of the stickers from the Memories and More card pack and just put it right there. I could play with those stickers. I could put deer, I could put presents, I could put all kinds of fun things. So this is the card that we have, first card for tonight. Now the next card, what I did is I'm going to show you how to make this card, but I wanted to show you an alternate of this card where I used the full background layer, the 4 by 5 1/4. And I think it's really, really pretty. Really like it. But if you want to conserve your designer series paper, one of the ways that you can do that is just by cutting strips. So that's what I did for this card. I'm going to move some of this out of the way. And for this, I am using Real Red cardstock. Now, if you recognize, this is a landscape mode card, all right, because it's going lengthwise, right? So to make this card, I've already showed you how to do the card base. This is a layer of basic white cardstock that measures 4 by 5 1/4. If you remember, we subtract 1/4 inch. We're going to glue this on the back or on the card front. All right, so the next what I did is I took one of the pieces of designer series paper and I cut it to 2 by 5 1/4. Now the paper, it comes 6 by 6. So if I do that, I'm going to get 1, 2, 3 strips that way. That's the way that I can conserve and get a lot of use out of my designer series paper. So I'm going to glue this right across the middle. And then remember how, just like we did on this card, this is again a 3 by 4 card. I'll show you what's on the back. You could add some cute little stickers from the sticker pack if you wanted to do that, and then put that on if you wish. You can just have fun with this. These are just ideas to get the creativity flowing with what you can do with these cards. Again, this is 3 by 4, so my layer is 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. And then again, I'm going to pop this up with some dimensionals. You can use more dimensionals, less dimensionals. I did go through a lot of dimensionals. I will tell you that on making my cards. I do tend to be a little heavy-handed on the dimensionals. But I don't want my card to be all saggy. Okay, so I'm just gonna pop this up here in the middle. And that is pretty, but again, I've got my really pretty little gold thread there. So I thought it would be really nice just to add a little touch right there of some gold right there where the poinsettia or the holly and berries are. And so we're just going to pop that up right there. And then we have a really pretty and simple card. All right, so that is card number 2. This one, what I did for this one is really, it's very, very much the same. As you can see, a lot of these I'm using very similar measurements. I'm just changing them up a little bit. Now for this one, rather than using the gold thread, I chose to, for my accent or my shine or my glimmer, to come from the glimmer paper, the festive glimmer paper. So I do want to tell you a little bit of trick or a little tip on cutting glimmer paper. Glimmer paper is rough. It will wear out your cutting blades quite quickly. So to help minimize that, it's never 100% going to save your blades. But what you can do, what I recommend is you want to take it and turn it to where the paper part is facing you. And then take it and cut it. That way it's contacting the white part of the paper and not so much that rough glimmer paper. So it's just a way to kind of help your blades last a little bit longer. Now there is another tip that some people use as these blades start to wear out. You can remove them, and some people will add in, here at the bottom there's a little place where you can remove your blades and you can replace them. What some people will do is they will actually put 2 of these blades and they'll mark one of them for like glimmer paper. And that's something you can do as well. And then you have one for cutting glimmer paper if you wish to do that. All right, so this one, we're going back to a portrait card and we're gonna make this one. Just kind of getting ahead of myself. Now, remember on this card, I used the 2 by 5 1/4, right? So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to change where I put it. So where I put that accent piece. So let's go on ahead. Let's put our 4 by 5 1/4 basic white cardstock just to have a white background to work on. I'll put that on the card front. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just put it right down the middle. Let's throw it down the middle. I could put it on the side if I wanted to do that, but let's go ahead and put it down the middle just for something different. I could use that side as well. It would be cute too. Like I said, I didn't show you all the cards I made because there was so many variations to doing this. I just wanted to give you some ideas. All right, so for this one, again, this is a 3 by 4 Memories and More card. It has some presents on the back. So if you wanted to use that, maybe you could use that and just punch out a circle and stamp a sentiment, and that would make a super cute card as well. So this glimmer paper measures 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. Not really changing anything, am I? Pretty much very, very simple cards. I'm going to glue this on. Now, glimmer paper is a little more, what's the word? Not as friendly to glue. So it does take a little bit more time for it to adhere. So you want to make sure, press down really well. Give it a little more time than maybe you normally would to glue. And then you're going to, again, we're going to pop it up with some dimensionals. I see more of you are joining. Hi, Cindy. Hey, Jane, Karen, Simone. I appreciate you joining me. Let me know, or anybody like, is anybody like me? Let's be honest. Anybody like in a crunch to make a bunch of Christmas cards right now? Because I know I am. I need to make about 150. And right now I've got almost 100. So I'm getting there. I feel much better after doing this with the Memories and More. I really feel like I'm going to be able to accomplish that task. All right, so that is that card. That is card number 3. Again, I chose, instead of using the gold thread, I chose to use the glimmer paper for my sparkles. All right, this one, What we're going to do is we're going to take a piece of basic, the thick basic white cardstock, because remember, for our card bases, we want to be able to have a nice card for our recipient to open. We don't want it to be all flimsy. So when you're doing card bases with the white, use the thick version. All right, so for this one, I'm changing my measurements just a little bit. So for this one, it is 3 inches, which if we go back to this, it's half of our 6 by 6. So it's 3. And then if we remember, the width of our card is 4 1/4. So it's 3 by 4 1/4, and that will go all the way across. All right. So I'm just going to glue that across. You know what I'm going to do first? I'm going to go ahead and set up my Memories and More card. That just kind of has lines on the back. I'm going to go ahead and set that up, let it be adhering while I work on the next piece. So again, 3 by 4 Memories and More card, 3 1/4 by 4 1/4 of our glimmer paper. And I tell you, like what I did now the first pack, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do. But once I figured out what I wanted to do, I knew exactly how many card bases for the second pack to cut, how many of the glimmer paper, and I could just make an assembly line. And the second one, it didn't take me hardly any time at all to do the second one, the second pack of the Memories and More. I think it took me from start to finish 2 hours to do 48 cards on the second one. If that gives you an idea of how fast you can make 48 cards, which I have to say I'm pretty proud of. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna glue that across. Then we're gonna pop this up with dimensionals. All right, I am reading people's comments. Simone says she's behind on cards. Karen needs to work on, okay. Luckily, I'm not alone. I kind of was like, oh my gosh, it's almost December. We got to get this done. All right, so pop that up with dimensionals, and that is card number 4. Now, I want to share with something that I did. I took, and you remember how this is 3 by 4 1/4? What you can do is you can just rotate it, rotate how you did the orientation, and you can just have it as a little corner section with a little accent in the corner. You could have it below, you could have it above, you could have it here in the corner. If you just want to kind of mix up the look of your cards, that's the way to do it. All right, so this one is another card we're going to make. Now for this one, I actually used one of the 4 by 6 Memories and More card bases. And so here on the back, that's what it looked like. Okay, that was part of it. But I really love the stripes. I thought it went beautifully with this. I thought it coordinated the colors very nicely. And so I wanted to pull those colors in. So what I did is I borrowed that and I cut it down. Again, we are at 2 by 5 1/4. I'm going to glue my white cardstock on the front. Again, 4 by 5 1/4 for our layer. This is just a regular version of the white cardstock because I'm just using it as a layer. All right, again, this is a 3 by 4 Memories and More. It's got the little plaid open print on the front. You could just stamp that with a sentiment in the center and you got a card. All right, so let's go ahead. I'm going to glue this on. Can anybody guess what my measurement is for my glimmer paper? I did not change it. It is the same, 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. I wanted to keep it simple. We want cards fast. Okay, so I'm gonna let that set up on the glue. I'm gonna glue this right here at the bottom, just to give an accent layer. Okay, and then I'm gonna pop that up with dimensionals. I'm gonna have to break in, I think, to my other pack of dimensionals. I am almost out with what I have here, but that's okay. I did bring an extra. All right, let's pop this up again, center it, pop it up with dimensionals. And there we go. Look at that, so pretty, the little glisten and stuff. Just a simple card. All right, so now I'm gonna change things up just a little bit. Remember I told you there were two other patterns of the Memories and More cards that were 4x6. All right, so that doesn't fit on my normal card base. That's what it looks like before I cut it. It is too long to go, otherwise it's too long and lengthwise, so I needed to cut it down. So this is where I'm gonna pull in my paper trimmer. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just cut off a 1/4 inch on all 4 sides just to get rid of the border. So right here is my little 1/4 inch. I'm just going to go around and trim all 4 sides. And now it will fit lengthwise. Okay, so now we've got it, and it's just going to cover most of the card. That's okay. Now remember, do you recognize this? So instead of it being 2 by 5 1/4, again, this is just a strip from that same 4x6 pattern from the Memories and More card pack. This one, you can make it 1 inch. I think I may have 1.5 inch, but really you need at least 1 inch. And I'm going to cut this down to 5.5 because it's still at 6 inches and that is too long for my card. So I'm going to just trim a little bit off, and we're going to glue it at the bottom here. Just want to make sure that it's lined up at across the bottom, and then I'm going to put this right here on top. All right, now when you put these on, this Memories and More card is a little thick. And so it does have a little bit, I don't know if you can see it, maybe right there, it kind of comes up just a little bit. So to kind of bridge that seam or that gap, what I did is I cut just a really thin strip of the Granny Apple Green glimmer paper. This measures 1/8 of an inch by 5 1/4. And I'm just going to glue that right there just to give it some shimmer. To me, it just needed a little something. And that was a good way to do it without overpowering the card. So I'm just going to put a little strip of glue along the edge here. And then I'm going to just line it up. Now I'm actually putting it underneath the Memories and More card. If I were to try putting it on top, it would really be very thick. So I just want to add a really pretty little accent. Look at that cute little glimmer, really, really simple. Now there are, in the project sheet that I'm going to be emailing, it will include the project sheet to make the 6 cards that I made tonight, okay? There are 2 that are not on there, or that I did not demonstrate, but I wanted to show you. Now, if you remember, you could do 2, we did 2 by 5 1/4. What you could do is you could do 2 and go a little bit longer to 5 1/2, and you could do the full length of the card, 2 by 5 1/2, and then you could pop out that really cute little Warm Wishes Memories and More card. And that is another card option that you can make as well. And you can use any of these type. You could do a full background, you could do a partial, you could do a 3 by 4 or 4 1/4. You could do a strip down the middle. You can mix and match how you do this. And then here is the last card in the Memories and More card pack. Again, I did the same thing I did here, cut off a 1/4 inch all the way around. And then I just glued it onto my card base. So those are the cards that I have for you to share with you tonight using the Memories and More cards. If you would like to purchase any of these products, they are available in my Stampin' Up store. There will be a reference and a link to be able to just go click and add them or shop real easily on my online store when I send that email later tonight. All right, guys, I am going to check. Okay, somebody is asking, and I was afraid, how many Sorry, the screen's moving on me. How many packages of the glimmer paper do you to make all 48 cards? Okay, so you're gonna get, it depends on how much you want to use. To make the 48 cards that I made, you should be able to get by with one pack because you're not gonna do them on all the cards. Some of the cards you would do like this, not all of them. It is 3 by 4 1/4. You can get roughly 9 out of a pack. 9 times 6. No, yeah. Yes, 3 by 4 1/4. I think you could do, yeah, 3 per sheet. I mean, 9 per sheet. There's 6 sheets. 9 times 6, 54. Am I doing my math right? It's a little late for me, but anyway, you should be able to get, and also too, if you notice, I used garden green on one. I used granny apple green on another. I used real red on another. If you're wanting to use them on like all on, one color, then yeah, you're going to run through it a lot faster. But if you spread it out, and like I said, these work so well, you can mix and match. You could put red on that. You could put red on that. You could mix it up. You could put the garden green on that, however you want to do it. That's a good way to kind of spread the use of your paper. I hope I answered your question. I'm sorry. I would say to do 48 cards, you should be able to get by with one pack of the glimmer paper. All right. Let me see if there's any other questions. Okay, Simone, okay, is doing gifts for her friends. Simone, you're like us. Florida, y'all getting chilly too. We're getting chilly here in Texas. Yes, Liz, I am on tonight. This is the only time I had in my schedule for the next couple weeks to be able to hop on live, and I wanted to share this with you. So if you do need any help with the products, how much to order, if you need to make so many cards, need help on putting the order together, I am more than happy to help you do that so that you can get your Christmas cards done and get them done fast. All right, guys, I will see y'all tomorrow. I will be back for my regular live at 3 o'clock Central Time. Thank you for joining me for this impromptu pop-up live, and I look forward to seeing y'all tomorrow. Take care. Bye, guys.